Welcome to Tech Brothers with Amir. Today we are going to learn how to move the files from the input folder to the destination folder. But we have a unique scenario. So what we have here, we have multiple files sitting in one of the folder, and then we have a master file, an Excel file that is keeping a list of those files. So what we do, once we review these files, maybe there are situations where users have the permission to review the files and they do not have the permission to move these files from this folder. In that scenario, once they are done with the review of these files, they will put or maintain the input file path as well as the destination file path. Once that's done, every night we go ahead and run the package, and that will read these input paths and destination paths and move those files. So next time when the users are going to come back tomorrow, they will truncate or delete this Excel and start with the new records. So they will review the file. If even there are no records, they will just delete the existing records. So this package can become more generic. We can check if the file exists and all those kind of things, but I don't want to go in more detail here. Here we will be learning how to move the files and use the for each loop container, and how to loop through the different paths and use a file system task. So let's go ahead and do it. Rest of the scenarios, as I said, that every morning they can go ahead and delete these records and start with the new paths for the newly reviewed files, and every night we run this package. Now let me take you to the SSDT SQL Server Data Tools and click on SSIS Packages, new SSIS package, and we can call this one, let me rename this one, so we'll call it PKG move files. As the file input path and destination path is saved into the Excel file, we have to read those paths. So I will be using a data flow task here. Inside the data flow task, we will be using a Excel source. So let me go to the sources, Excel source, and now open the Excel source, new, browse, and we will be going to the input folder, and we will select the files to move .xlsx. Now we are good, and here is Excel 2007. First row has the columns. Now we will select the sheet. It is on sheet 1, columns, and we see that input file path and the destination path. We are all good here. Let's as we need to read that input file path and destination folder path, we need to save that information in somewhere, so we can loop through and use the file system task. Because file system task is not available in the data flow, we have to come back to the control flow. So we need to save this information in data flow and bring to the control flow. So I'm going to save this information into the record set destination. That will save the information into the object type variable. So we'll bring the record set destination here, connected. We have to create a object type variable, so I'm going to call this one file list or whatever you call, and this is going to be object type. We are all good here. Now open it and provide the variable name here, that's file list. Input columns, we want both columns coming in. Refresh, hit OK. We are all good. Let's go ahead and run the package and see what happened. Now the data is read from the Excel, and it is saved into the memory as we have put the data into the object type variable. Next part, we need to read that records one by one from the object type variable and then process them or use them. So what I will be using here, I will be using for each loop container. Connect to it, double click, and go to collections. Instead of for each file enumerator, we will be using for each ADO enumerator. So by using that, we can read the data from the object type variable. So here we will provide the object type variable. Now rows in the first table, that's fine. Go to variable mappings. here we will create two variables, one for the input path and one for the destination path. So I'm going to call it file input path. This is going to be string, and next one will be our destination path. This is going to be string as well. So if you see that index is 0 and 1, as there are two columns, so on each of the iteration there will be one row extracted from the objective variable by using for each loop container, and then we have one row and two columns. So you can say that the first will be same in the first column or cell value, the second will be same in the second column or the cell value coming from the second column. Now here we are all good. We will be using these variables in the file system task now. So bring the file system task. Let me find out file system task here that can be used to do different operations on file. In this case we will be moving the files from the input folder to the archive folder or given path that we have read from the Excel. So in the operation we will say move file, and is the source path variable? Yes, and we have to provide the variable. So in this case we have input file input path, right? And here we want to override the destination. Yes, if it is there we want to override it. And destination, is destination path variable? That's right as well. And here we have to provide the path, so destination path. Now we are all good here. Still you can see that there is a red cross on the file system task, and if we hover our mouse, it's a variable file input path is used as a source or destination is empty. That's correct, because that value will be retrieved, or we will get that value at the time of execution, because we will read the value from the Excel, save into the objective variable. For each loop is going to loop through the objective variable or the record set, and then it will get the value to the variable. Now to avoid this situation, as it is trying to validate now, what we can do, we can go ahead, go to properties and set one of the property called delay validation to true. So let me find that property. Here we have delay validation to true. What does that mean? We are telling the task not to validate now, and you can go ahead and validate at time of execution. So that took the error away, and when it will run at that time it will validate and find out if these variables have the value. So and we are very sure about that these variables will have the value, as we are saving the values from the for each loop container, and you can see that in the variables. So we are reading from the object type and saving on each of the iteration. Okay, let me take you to the archive folder. Right now we see that these are 4 files here. The 2 should be moved, and they should be moved to the archive folder. And here is customer, there is no file here, and there is employee, and there is no file here as well. So we can go ahead and run the package and see if it works. It ran successfully, and we can see that the files should be moved. Let me take a look. So if we go to the first, let's go to the input folder. Okay, so there were 4 files, 2 of them are not there, so it means they are moved to somewhere. So let's go to the archive. Let's check the folders. So we see that customer file is there. Now we check the employee folder, and that file is there as well. So now this package, there are small enhancements that we can do to this package. Maybe we want to take a look before they move the file. If somebody make a mistake, okay, they made some error in writing and all those kind of things, this can be checked. So I have a post on TechBrothersIT.com. You can find that just in the search. You say how to check if the file exists or not. So there is a script task we can use with the combination of file system task. We can have script task here, if file does exist, then we run the file system task, otherwise we would not run it. Or we can also check if the file exists by using script task, and also can move the file by using the script task as well. So go ahead, if you want to take a look on those scripts, you're more than welcome. I will try to put the link in the description as well for that post. And thanks very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.